As some of you may know, I have a teenage son, and a while back people were telling me, man, he's going to eat you out of house and home. Well, I'm here to say that we are certainly going through that. Every time I see him now, you know, truthfully, it's pretty rare nowadays, but when I do see him, he's always eating something.
Every time I come in the kitchen, you in the kitchen.
And if left to his own devices, the chances are he'd eat nothing but junk food. So it's up to me to help steer him in the right direction and provide him good, healthy options so he can grow and, become a healthy adult. When I step back and think about it, it's like feeding Chubbs my Tegu. It's up to me to feed him the correct food, have a balanced diet, and give him the best nutrition I can. I'm Jay. This is Jay's Cryptic Creatures. Come on, let's go learn something together. There are some old adages, such as too much of a good thing isn't good. Also, variety is the spice of life. I couldn't agree more with both of those statements. As reptile keepers, it is our responsibility to do all the things possible to give our Tegu his best life. This includes proper heating, proper enclosure size, proper humidity, as well as diet, nutrition, and exercise. In this video, we'll be discussing Tegu diet and supplementation. For diet, we will break it down into main meals, snacks, and in supplementation, we'll go a deep dive on how you supplement those meals. For main meals, I use a variety of different options. I make a meat mash, which consists of a protein source that includes ground chicken livers, ground chicken heart, as well as vegetables, including carrots, leafy greens like Swiss chard, peppers, things of that nature, and also some fruit, typically blueberries. It's a really simple mixture to make, and when I dive deeper into it, a lot of these things you can grow in your own home garden. I also feed with Reptilinks. It's a sausage-based option, similar to the meat mash. And then finally, for main meals, I do offer whole prey items as well. And then we'll slide in some snack options. Okay, so let's dive into the making of the meat mash.
All right, so here are the ingredients that we're going to use to make the meat mash. We have a pound of ground chicken, either ground yourself or get it ground at the store. Get as lean as possible. Going to the right, we have a third to a half a pound of chicken hearts, a third to a half a pound of chicken livers. We will use about a quarter of a pound of blueberries. We'll have a couple handfuls of shredded carrots or shred your own, 2 red or green peppers, some about 1/8 of a pound or so of squash, and then a whole head of Swiss chard, and we'll get those veins removed from there. So this is the basics of the meat mash. So let's get chopping.
First, you get the slicey daisy for making the pumpkin gooch.
All right, we got our veg all chopped up. So now we can move on to the grind. All right, so for grinding, I just have a KitchenAid stand mixer as well as the KitchenAid kind of grinding attachment. If I recall, this was like $100. In my opinion, well worth it. Easy enough to do on a small scale. Like if you just have a Tegu or even probably a couple, this is probably the most economical
They have big industrial grinders, but I think that's a bit overkill for the maybe standard person. So what we're going to do, I like to not put the pre-ground chicken through there. I kind of like it a little bit chunkier. I usually lead off with chicken hearts, just to get things lubed up, and then just alternating putting different components into the grind until we get through all of them. All right, this is going to get a little bit messy, a little bit loud, so let's get started. Okay, with the grinding done, you should have a mixture that looks a little bit like this. Kind of a thinner consistency. You can play around with the recipe. I mean, that's the part of the fun here. So at this point, what we're going to do, or what I'm going to do, is portion this out into smaller sizes. I'm going to use airtight containers and freeze them. I used to use small sandwich bags or Ziploc bags, but I didn't have much success between the freezing and the thawing. I got a lot of leaks, so I moved over to the storage containers. So let's see how much we actually got. Okay, so this guy is 3 cups. Each one of these littler ones are 1.25 cups. So that's 5 cups, 8 cups. And this typically lasts chubs about a month. Again, right, we pepper in different types of food as well, but this will last about a month. One of the other main meal options I use is Reptilinks. As we discussed before, this is very similar to the meat mash, just in sausage form. They come in a variety of different options. I typically go with the Mega Blend. And then with inside of the blend options, there is a variety of different sizes based on your animal and how big that animal is. The Mega Blend is a mix of quail, different collard greens, and dandelion greens, and other vegetables, as well as fruit. I also add egg. I will add kind of the full ingredient list over here or over here. Really easy to do. It comes frozen. I thaw it out in different sections, just like you would kind of thaw out whole prey items, and just feed them, sometimes with tongs, sometimes with just a dish. Using tongs is a great opportunity to do different target training or other training methods. As we know, Tegus are highly food motivated. Again, this is a great option if you don't have the ability to make your own meat mash, or if you just want the convenience of having the meat mash in a sausage casing. One cool thing that is kind of adjacent is these products ship under dry ice or with dry ice. So after you get everything put away in your freezer, if you have kids, you can do some pretty cool science experiments. So that's a bonus as well. All right, let's take a look and see if Chubbs likes the Reptilinks.
The final main meal item I offer is whole prey. This typically includes mice or young chicks or quail. Great source of protein as well as calcium with the bones. Um, Make sure you get your items from a good reputable dealer, thawed out properly, and make sure you have the correct size. Um, you want to have the item be really no more than the width between their eyes. I try to lean more towards the fowls, like the chicken or the quail. This meat is typically a bit more lean. However, mixing in mice or rats never harms uh, anybody. It's good to have a cheat day and treat yourself every once in a while. Let's go see if Chubbs enjoys his little mouse snack. Moving on to supplementation, I use ZooMed calcium with D3 and without D3. I also use the ZooMed Reptivite, I believe, and then I also use, which is a little bit weird, Super Vitamin B Complex. I got that item and trick, if you will, from Joey at Rose City Reptiles. At Chubb's current size, I feed 3 times a week. On Tuesdays, I feed a meat mash portion with the calcium plus D3 as well as the vitamins. On Thursday, I feed either Reptilinks or offer some whole prey items. And then on Saturdays, I feed another portion of meat mash using calcium without D3. And if Chubbs is in shed, I sprinkle in some of the super vitamin B complex. It helps with shedding. When adding the calcium powder and vitamins, consult the bottle. They'll have what the appropriate amount is to use based on the weight of your animal. And again, this is what works for me. Everybody can do something a little bit different. Final thought here is snacks. So, like we said, Tegus are really food motivated, at least in my experience. So, using that food can really help in the ways of training your Tegu. Chubbs really likes peppers. Take a look at this video here. Um, Using the tongs, I'm able to, again, build a relationship, but also give him healthy treats throughout the course of the week. As we talked about in previous Tegu videos, they are a bit more than your typical beginner reptile. They are large animals with large appetites, and it's up to us as keepers to make sure that we do not overfeed them and give them the balanced diet that they need. With proper protein, fruits, vegetables, and supplementation, your Tegu will be with you for a very long time. I'd love to hear about how you feed your Tegu, what the frequency is, your different blends of food, proteins, and vegetables. So please drop a comment and let's have a conversation. With all that being said, please like, subscribe, and we can continue learning about tegus, tarantulas, centipedes, and other cryptic creatures together. Until next time.